that is
Exactly,
great.
exactly.
Yeah.
Don't just send me an email and say, I need a manager to get me bookings. I get that all the time.
Yeah.
That's just, no.
Can I expand a little bit on what Gary said? I was asked this question. I teach a class at Belmont University on entertainment distribution and promotion. I had a student ask me a question for another class, a paper he was writing. He said, "You've been at this for 27 years now. What do you like best about your career?" And I said, from day one till now, I can honestly say, whether it's a solo artist in a smoky club somewhere with an acoustic guitar, or it's Michael W. at Palace of Auburn Hills with 15,000 screaming people and the whole thing, I get excited about both if I'm moved by what they do and say. And so when the music comes across, I'm kind of like Gary, get these calls and everything. Well, the first thing I have to say is, let me hear what you do, because I need to be moved. No manager, in my opinion, even though you can do some tricks in the studio and all that, no manager can really take something that doesn't move people and suddenly make it a success. You have to bring your heart, your art to the table and try to stir people, if you will, and move them somewhere. There's a great quote that I found a couple years ago from Henry David Thoreau, and it says, "To affect the quality of the day, that is the highest of the arts." So what does it mean to affect the quality of the day? That means to move somebody, to change their moment, if not their life, but to change their moment. If they're down and desperate, you move them toward hopefulness. If they're already excited, you move them to more exuberance, whatever it is, but you try to move people. And I think when you move people, then we get excited.
Right.
Once we get excited, now we can go and talk about, okay, what are you doing? What do you want to do? Can I fit that? Can we build a relationship? But it's got to start with that. Being a marketer, the best marketing campaign you can ever have is a great product. And as Terry Hemmings at Providence said a couple years ago at a conference, he said, people will still buy, even in this economy, in this industry, people will still buy great songs from great artists. And that's really what it comes down to, I think, on the first introduction, anyway.
I'm going to open this question up to we haven't heard from Ray, so I'm going to see if Ray can answer it if you want to, or Michael, whichever one of you guys. I want to touch on what both of you just finished saying, though. You saying that you need the artist to move you. What does that mean? You need to be able to create. You can create stuff that's going to move. So that's one of the reasons why the first artist started going to managers, so that the manager could take care of the business thing and you could take care of creating, take care of trying to move your audience. But then at the same time, you got artists coming saying, what I need somebody to do is book me some shows. You got to create revenue. You got to make money. So what I want to ask from the managers in an ever-changing music world, where we're all trying to figure out how to make money, and then artists are they got to create. So what can a manager do, other than booking shows, just booking shows? What can a manager do to help bring new creative ways of generating revenue in this new landscape of making money in music? And so I wanted to see if you had anything that you're doing with artists now that, oh, this is cool, this is different, that this is a way that we've been able to fund the ministry or the machine or whatever, or ideas that you have that you haven't tried yet that you want to give to me and let me go. Hit on that a little bit for us.
Yeah, I mean, we all know that we are in a very peculiar time in this industry. Some of us have been at this for a long time, and so we have gone and have experienced a lot of changes. Warren, I wish I did have, 4 or 5 great ways to make money doing your music that we haven't thought of yet, I do think that the question before us, before you as indie artists, while it may be how do I make more money in these things, usually what I find when I talk to indie artists, the question is, okay, what is the next thing I need to do? In this panel, this conference that you're going to be experiencing for the next couple of days, you're going to be getting a lot of big picture stuff, a lot of small picture stuff. There's a lot of content. There's a lot of stuff involved in this business. But I would encourage you to be asking and trying to seek out, what is the next step for me? Where is it that with what I've got, what am I supposed to do with this? And how do I take this next step? this came to me because in the process of working with a few indie artists, I realized, my goodness, I would be at a conference like this, and I would I recognized that people were not getting the correct, we're not asking the right questions, and we're not getting the right response to things. And so I had really challenged everybody. As managers, we do have a certain amount of information. We have done this a certain amount of times. Instead of you maybe stepping into a marriage with one of us for what could be quite a while, given Dennis's contracts.
Perpetuity, in perpetuity.
You may want to start out asking the question, well, where I am right now, given what is the next thing that you would do if you were my manager, just for one day? And
That's cool.
that is not usually, I'm going to take you to EMI, I'm going to take you to Providence, I'm going to take you to these places and get you signed. It's a next step. And it has a lot to do with the giftings and callings that you have. You're not in this room if you don't have some people in your life saying to you, you have giftings and callings, you deserve to do this. Don't know how you do it, but you've got something special. What I would encourage you to do is find people like us that have done this a bit to help unpack that question. Okay, here's what I've got right now. What is the next thing that I need to do to get to this bigger goal over here? And it may be stepping out of the denomination that you've been playing a long time. It may be working with a different producer. It may be evaluating really if your calling is correct. Because a lot of times we talk about ministry and music and all. I'm not entirely certain that everybody falls into that same category of a minister, per se. And I think that we do injustice to those that are ministers by calling everybody a minister. So, and I think there's no shame in simply saying, I'm a Christian who does this, who makes music. And that you may find yourself in another aspect of our industry, producing, writing songs for other people, even managing. Some of you out there may find that you really have a propensity for encouraging and helping other people. And really, you might find yourself on our side of the tables here.
Let me just address that quickly and say one of the things that I think that needs to happen more in the independent world. This is the new place to be as in independent music, and it's in collaboration. What used to be a given in the music industry was much more collaborative spirit between artists helping each other, writing together, doing shows together. I think one of the biggest missing pieces is that everybody's trying to be independent. I mean, it's the time to be independent, and it's the thing everybody's trying to do is I'm just going to be a one-man show doing my own thing. The best songs are not being written. The best shows are not being produced. The best performances are not being given because I really think sometimes the collaborative element of that, of people working together, creating a new experience, we're going, I've never seen three guys like that before. That was amazing. That was an amazing event to watch the three of them working together on stage and how they created stuff. And we're not challenging ourselves to do that because we're so independent and we're so standing alone that we're going, I got to do it all. I've just got to be discovered on my own. Well, I challenge you to look around, that there's probably another way to collaborate and put something together that maybe is a new, fresh version of what we're still trying to do in the music industry. So.
Man, I hope you guys are taking notes. Ray and Michael just